And welcome, good morning, friends, and welcome to Go Long, a show that includes thought-provoking, faith-based interviews with area coaches, players, and sports figures. It's a show that will truly connect us. Good morning, I'm Wayne McCullough. With me is Becky B. Good morning, Becky B.
Good morning.
Right, first, you got to know it's red hot, downtown Ollie Brown. This is the number one faith-based sports radio show brought to you by Sports Radio WOYK 98.9 FM. 1350 AM, First in York and First in Sports, and our friends Kelsey Jean and Kylie Jane at Red Barn Home Decors, where home staging makes dollars and cents. Throughout the show, friends, you may text any prayer request you have to 717-350-8591. Hey, we've got a dandy today. After the scoreboard show, we're going to go live to Messiah University with their men's head basketball coach, Coach Rick Van Pelt. Gosh, Becky B, can you imagine he is in his 20th season as head basketball coach? We were there for the first one.
We were, definitely.
And Coach Van Pelt is, first of all, a wonderful young man, great basketball coach. We'll have a chance to chat with him, learn more about him. But just listen a little bit about Coach Van Pelt over the years. 3 NCAA tournament appearances in the second round in 2006, 2 conference championships, 2-time Coach of the Year in the MAC Commonwealth Division. Great man, our son played for him.
Right. And that's just his stats as a coach. He was an outstanding player as well.
Absolutely. And so it'll be wonderful to talk to Coach Van Pelt in a little bit. And then we're going to go to The Rock, our student athletes today. We're going to talk with Chase Robert and Oliver Dance. They're going to do a 2-step as they talk a little bit about their basketball team, the boys from The Rock, in the York Adams League playoffs, losers to Central York. We'll talk a little bit about that. But these 2 guys will also talk about their faith journey, what young men face here in high school. And they're just 2 wonderful young men. It'll be fun to chat with them. Alrighty, men and ladies, thanks for being with us. You wanted it. You asked for it. You got it. We're back with the WOYK scoreboard. First, in boys basketball playoffs from the York Adams, the York High Bearcats improved to 19-4 as they tattooed the Fighting Irish of York Catholic by a score of 68-49. Juju Tucker led the Bearcats and everyone else in the scorebook with 28. The Bearcats are deep. Guards David Ward and Jarcier Vega combined for 24, and the big man, center O'Marion Newsom, collected 10 boards. The Irish will likely match up with the Lone Catholic in district playoff action.
The Central York Panthers with a little Rochambeau of their own as they rock, paper, scissored the boys from the Rock. The final score there, Central 70, Susquehannock 52.
The Golden Boys of Eastern York battled the Smallsville Boys, the Littlestown Thunderbolts, as the Golden Knights win 57-49. The Bigs led the Knights. The 6'4" senior Austin Powers Bossman led with 18, and 6'6" sophomore Carter Wamsley booked 15. For the Bolts, leading all scorers was 6'8" junior center Christopher Meekin, as Meekin scorched the nets for 24. You got to say, Becky B, it's impressive the size in the York Adams League this year.
Oh, my goodness, yes. What are they feeding these young men that they're growing so tall?
It is.
Yes. In a low-scoring affair, a triple overtime thriller, the Dogtown Boys of West York outlasted the Wildcats of Dallastown 35-29. That's after 3 overtimes.
Yeah.
For the Bulldogs, 6'5", another tall guy, Center Jovan DeShields led with 15. A win is a win, but check out the stat of the game. West York, just 6 of 23 from the Charlie stripe. I bet they were practicing their free throws the next day.
Yikes. All right, let's look at the York Adams League Boys Basketball Championship moving forward. Guys, they're going to be playing on Valentine's Day, so these young men are not going to have dates on Valentine's night. Sorry to say that, guys. Sorry to say that. All right, first of all, a matchup. The first matchup of the evening at York Tech. Here's what it is. It's Central York, who is winners of Division I, 17-6 record. They're ranked number 6 in 6A right now. They're going to match up with the Golden Boys of Eastern York. The Golden Boys were second in Division II, 16-6 overall record. They're ranked 5th in 4A PIAA District 3. Becky B, the Panthers or the Golden Boys? What's your thoughts?
The Panthers are just too tall. I think we're going to have to go with the Panthers there.
Here's the interesting thing about this game. I think the Panthers are young, though. Central York's got a young team.
They are.
But
That's
you're
true.
right. They're
but
big.
Eastern York is heavy on experience, and they went deep last year, too.
I know. So I actually think this is the game of the night.
Oh, you do?
I do. And I would almost say it's a pick 'em. I'm going to give the edge to Central York. But I think it's a great game. All right, the other boys' game will be York High, who, with a 19-4 record, they were second place in Division I in the York Adams League. They're currently ranked 4th in 6A in District 3 playoffs. They're going to match up with the Dogtown Boys. The Dogtown Boys won Division II, 17-6 record. They're ranked 8th in 5A in district play. So, Becky B, York High or the Dogtown Boys?
Well, I think these teams play a different style of basketball. So, it was obvious that West York slowed things down quite a bit when they were playing against Dallastown, and William Penn's a running team. So, I think West York's going to slow down those William Penn guys, and I think they might come away with the win.
Oh, my gosh. I think that's a bold pick, Becky B. I got to go with York. This is an excellent York team. They're balanced. They have good size. They have great guard play. Their guards score points. I don't know.
And they do have some height, too.
They do. That's what I'm saying. They're balanced. They're a balanced team.
That's true.
So I'm going to give the edge to York. It'll be interesting to see. So that's how the York Adams League boys basketball match up on Valentine's Day. Alrighty, in girls York Adams playoff action, the Dallastown Wildcats win by 4 over the Fighting Irish of York Catholic, 49-45. The Irish led by 3 with less than 4 minutes to play when Coach Rexroth extended his defensive pressure full court and knotted this thing up with just 57 ticks on the clock and taking the lead with just 30 seconds to play. The Wildcats win. Kiara McNeely led the Wildcats with 13 points, a baker's dozen, and Paige O'Brien led the Irish with also a baker's dozen. Now, Becky B, Jay Rexroth and Kevin Bankos matching up in that first round.
Those are 2 outstanding coaches. Amazing records, amazing past records. You look at those 2 and you just know Coach Rexroth always has something up his sleeve, and year after year, Kevin Bankos comes away with some really great teams.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. I coached against Jay Rexroth, and you're right. Kevin Bankos is outstanding coach as well. I never coached against him because obviously he's coached the girls throughout his career. There was one time, I got to tell this quick story. There was one time we played Dallastown at home at the Rock, and after the game, I was picking stuff off the bench, and I saw papers laying over at the Dallastown side, and they had a scouting report. It was a 12-page scouting report on us that had every inbounds play, every tendency of every player on set. I have never seen anybody prepare for a game like Coach Rexroth in my life.
He certainly does come prepared.
Yep, absolutely.
Coach Dom Dimhoff's Red Lions put up 74 points as they pounded the Bobcats of Northeastern 74-57. For the Lions, Grace Masser went downtown Ollie Brown 7 times to lead with 21 points. Still for the Lions, Brooke Axe poured in 18 points, while Gordon Bay netted 15 and Carr chipped in an even dozen. For the Bobcats, Nyla Davis led with 17.
Alrighty, the Central York Panthers run their season record to 20 wins and just 2 losses as they knocked out the Suburbanites, the Trojans of York Suburban, by a score of 50-38. For the Panthers, senior Bellis Chimenti netted 11, and for the Trojans, junior Janae Rissmiller led everyone with 21. Now, let's keep Panther head coach Scott Wisner in our thoughts and in our prayers as he is dealing with some health issues. Longtime familiar coach in the York Adams League, Sean Potts, serving as interim coach for the Panthers.
The DeLone Catholic Squirettes with a convincing 50-33 win over the Golden Knights of Eastern York as Coach Jerry Eckenrode's squad improves to 22-1 is the loneliest number for the season for the Squirettes. Megan Jacoby led with an even 20 spot. Ariana Seitz led the Knights with 16. And just in case you're keeping score at home for DeLone, you might ask, who beat them?
Okay.
Well, it just happened to be the defending PIAA Class 6 champs, Plymouth Whitemarsh. They gave the Squirettes their only blemish of the season.
That's nothing to hang your head about. But
Absolutely not.
All right, let's look how the York Adams League Girls Basketball Championships are going to match up. This will be on Wednesday night at York Tech. Game number 1 is going to feature Dallastown against Redline. Dallastown, second place in Division 1. Redline, the Lions, third place in Division 1. They are no strangers to each other. The Wildcats 15-8 overall record. They are ranked 11th in 6A. The Lions 17-6 overall record. They're ranked 4th in 6A.
And a town-by-town rivalry there. Dallastown and Red Lions, always a cat fight.
Yeah, this is a dandy, isn't it? And two great head coaches, Don Dimhoff, Jay Rexroth, matching up. Becky B, your pick.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Lions on this one.
Ooh, interesting. Alrighty. I call this a toss-up.
Oh, do you?
I'm going to go with the Lions also. I think they have the ability to put more points on the board. They pressure as well as anybody. But I think
Coach Rexroth will have his girls prepared, though.
Absolutely. No, it's a pick 'em. All right, and it's game 2 of the night. It'll be Central York winners of Division 1, 20-2 overall record, ranked second in 6A PIAA District 3. Are going to match up with the Squirettes of DeLone Catholic with a 22-1 overall record, winners of Division 3, ranked number 1 in PIAA District 4A. Becky B, this is a tough one to pick.
It's a really tough one to pick, but I think DeLone may come up with their second blemish of the season on this one. Central York is a tall team. I think they're pretty well balanced. Sean Potts will have them ready too, I believe, although you never can count out the Squirettes.
Oh gosh, this is a tough one to pick. You know what? I'm going to give the edge to the Squirettes. I think they have.
Okay.
Both teams have playoff experience. You can't discount that. I don't know. I don't know. It's a pick 'em. I'm going to give the edge to Squirettes, but it's a tough one to pick. Hey, York College men and women's basketball with a rare weekend off. They both match up with Hood College at home on Valentine's Day. The men now with an even 7-7 MAC Commonwealth record. Who would have thunk that a couple weeks ago? The women now 6-8 in league play. Alvernia on the top of the men's standings in the MAC Commonwealth with a 12-3 league record. Masai on top of the women's standings, still unbeaten with a 14-0 Commonwealth record. Becky B, the York Adams swim meet in the swimming hole this weekend at Central York. Tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. It was held February 9th through 11th. And, this is always one of those events that, so many student athletes are participating and doing an outstanding job. Bringing home the hardware for Central York in the first event, the 200-yard medley relay. And also, these same girls bringing home the hardware in the 400-yard freestyle. These 4 ladies, Jayla Eckert, Anna Tate, Riley Sauter, and Maddie Buss combined. Now, those names popped out throughout the competition because Maddie went on to get second in the 200-yard freestyle. Jayla wins the 200-yard individual medley. Anna Tate, her teammate, and was third in that event. Jayla also went back to win the 100-yard butterfly. Riley Sauter, her teammate, came in fourth, and Riley also was third in the 50-yard freestyle. Maddie Buss won the 500-yard freestyle, and Anna Tate the 100-yard breaststroke as well. Now, other names were popping up all throughout the competition. Too many to mention, but Owen Cromer from Southwestern won both the 50-yard freestyle and the 100-yard freestyle. And, that's one of those events that if you blink, you're going to miss it. They're in and out of the pool in just over 20 seconds.
Yep.
Wade Jacobs from Susquehannock won the 200-yard freestyle and the 100-yard butterfly, and also then anchored the second-place 400 freestyle relay. And Julia Havas from Dallastown won the 50-yard freestyle. She started it off with the winning team of Julia Havas, Lauren Ozenwall, Lydia Williams, and Bella Wilkerson in the 200-yard freestyle relay. Julia also won the 100-yard freestyle and anchored the second-place 400-yard freestyle relay. On the diving end, Taylon Thomas from West York was the champion, and leading the gentleman, Sean Henning from Spring Grove.
All right, yes, from the swimming hole at Central York. Thank you, Becky B. Now, friends, let's go long. I've cherry-picked a couple verses from the Bible, and I know you'll get the meaning because, I often tell athletes, every now and then a basketball player and others will say, what can I do to get better? And I always say, you know what? You need to work on skills, but the most important thing is make everyone else around you better. Let's think about how you make everyone around you better.
To be a true teammate.
Yeah. So, from Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, no one person sharpens another. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. This is from Hebrews chapter 10, verses 24 and 25. Not giving up meeting each other as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. From 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. Therefore, encourage one another and build up each other, just as in fact you are doing. And then finally, from the book of Romans chapter 15, verse 5 and 6. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement, this is our God who gives us endurance and gives us encouragement, give you the same attitude of mind toward each other that Christ Jesus had, so that with one mind and with one voice you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Becky B., what do those verses say to you?
Well, I often think back, and some of the most successful teams that I have seen are not sometimes the ones who are necessarily the most skilled, but they're the teams that have really gelled as teammates, encouraging each other, as you said, making each other around them better, knowing what their role and their position is in the team. And so often there are people on the team who may not be maybe the leading scorer or the best wrestler, but they're the ones who encourage other people, the team leaders, and give the kind of leadership on the team where they're picking other people up and making other people around them a better athlete by having, just giving them the kind word or the bit of encouragement when they need it to move on.
Yeah, and I always tell my teams that, there's enough other people in the world who are going to tear you down. When you're successful, even if you're not, people say bad things about people. And for some reason, I don't know. I don't think they even do it consciously. Sometimes they just rip other people, and sometimes it's athlete against athlete who get discouraged. Maybe when somebody turns the ball over or makes a bad play. Sometimes it's parents, again, another parent who thinks that their child should play more or not. I don't know. It's just there's enough people in the world to rip you down, and I always say, you know what? We're not going to do that. We're a team. We're going to build each other up. Nothing negative here. We're going to work together. We're going to be encouraging each other. We're going to fight for each other. And I think that's true not only on the athletic field or on the court. That's true in life as well, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. When you look around, some of our best leaders are the positive people in the world.
Yeah.
The people who are the ones who are giving each other a hand or working in peace to promote a cause.
Yeah, so listen to these words from Proverbs chapter 27. One person sharpens another. Pause for a second this morning, friends, and think how you can sharpen another person today. How you can sharpen another person, whether it's a young person, another adult, or friend throughout the week. And also from book of 1 Thessalonians, think how you can encourage and build up each other. Again, think of those words. What can you do to build up another? And then from Romans, may the God who gives us the endurance, may the God who gives us encouragement, give us the attitude of mind. Let it give us the frame of mind. Let it give us the thought in our mind to just be part of our life, so that one voice, that we can work toward that one voice, that one mind, that we can glorify God and our Father by uplifting others. Isn't that a great way to glorify our God Father, by uplifting others?
Absolutely. You never know when that one word of encouragement may really make a difference in a person's life.
Yep, absolutely. So my friends, think a little bit this week and consider what we are talking about here from our verses today, how you can work together of one mind to build up each other. Alrighty, friends, when we come back, we're going to talk live with head coach Rick Van Pelt of the Messiah University men's basketball team.
Hey WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are homes sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over $16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a call at 717-818-1207.
Red Barn Home Decors. Staging makes dollars and cents.
When you have talent like this, you know we're gonna brag about it. From Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, Doug Gottlieb, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Ben Maller, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Jason Smith, RJ Bell, and Mike Carmen.
There's going to be some saltiness about that.
This is more than a lineup. This is the lineup. They live right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
Favre and Aaron Rodgers are not the same person, but they're becoming the same Green Bay quarterback. You've seen those commercials, those Progressive insurance commercials where, you start becoming your parents. They're actually very, very funny. Aaron's becoming Favre, whether he wants to be it or not. He's getting kind of rigid. He doesn't want to change certain things. Favre got very rigid. I don't want to learn a new offense. Aaron's like, I want Randall Cobb and my 70-year-old quarterback coach. They're becoming the same guy, and I've always called this the Green Bay Packer quarterback syndrome. In Green Bay, the quarterback runs the franchise. If Aaron keeps mentioning, I don't know if I'm going to play, the team that gets him doesn't have to give up many picks. Because Aaron's not going to go play for a crappy team. He'll just retire. Tennessee's the team I put out there.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
And now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
This is always tricky when you have to change your viewing patterns of finding something. But going to YouTube, NFL Sunday Ticket was launched in 1994, and it was on DirecTV. This was a godsend for DirecTV, and they've had it since DirecTV's inception. But the NFL and YouTube are now partners here. The traditional media is not going to play a role moving forward. We're seeing that. Just different places with, a lot more money and needing that content there. Yes, Todd?
They do need to figure out a way, if there is technically, where you can flip from one channel to another without having to have 9 different remotes. And
yeah, you kind of can. If you have, depending on what type of streaming TV you have, you should hit one
I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
You're on York's new home for Philadelphia Eagles football. Catch every snap, all the touchdowns.
He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's in for the touchdown.
All the big plays.
Sideline. All alone. Big play. Slide.
Eagles Hall of Famers Merrill Reese and Mike Quick bring the action to York all season long. Philadelphia Eagles football, presented by WellSpan Health. Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
It's gonna be another epic year of high school hoops, and Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK are ready for tip-off. Tune in every week for the high school basketball game of the week, presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Plus, go to 98.9WOYK.com for a full breakdown of the teams and the players of the York Adams League. The high school basketball game of the week, presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Catch all the action all season on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350, online at 98.9WOYK.com, or download the new WOYK app.
Welcome back to Go Long, my friends. With us is head Messiah College men's basketball coach Rick Van Pelt in his 20th season at Messiah College. That's hard to believe where that time went. Coach, welcome. Thanks for being with us. 20 years, how did that happen?
Yeah, it is. It seems like a different life back at the beginning when your son Quinn played for us. I think he was in his junior year in my first year as the head coach. So, yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a good ride.
Coach, everyone I have a chance to talk to you about your basketball program. 20 years, it deserves to be said. This is Coach Van Pelt's program. First of all, what I say is he's a great basketball coach, good fundamental basketball coach. Players, teams improve individually and as a team from the start of the season to the end of the season, and that's really what coaching is all about. But also what I consider most importantly, is, Coach, you're coaching young men. You coach them to be better Christian young men with great ethics, how to build up each other, how to be a great team. And truly our lesson today, and I'm going to just quote quickly from Romans chapter 15, verses 5 and 6. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind toward each other. And that's the attitude of mind, Coach, that I know you work with for your young men.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, it is, Messiah's a unique place. It's a special place, and we have a special mission above and beyond just the game of basketball. Basketball is certainly our passion. I mean, it's we love it, and we love to work hard at it, and we want to win. But you're right. I mean, we're kind of called where we're at to prepare guys to be better husbands, better fathers, and better Christian men who can serve the Lord in whatever passions they have after they leave our program. So we try to pour into them, and we learn from them as well. I mean, we're in it together, and none of us are perfect. So we work at it together.
Coach, you talked about a passion for basketball. I share that passion. Let's chat basketball real quick. From an offensive standpoint, what do you try to do at Messiah University? We have a lot of coaches who listen. We have a lot of young players who listen. What do you try to do? You run a motion offense, or you mix in set plays? Tell us what you do offensively.
Yeah. Well, this season, you probably want to ask me more defensive questions after this season. But you're right. Motion-oriented offense. We do adapt a little bit from year to year, player-wise, if we have different strengths. We had a team several years ago that was really fast, and so we tried to score a lot early in possessions. And the teams in the competition we were playing against, we could do that with those teams. We're very, very deliberate this year, and really are patient, probably more than what we maybe would like to be, but we just try to create the best scoring opportunities we can create through sharing the ball, playing together, and like I said, we offensive end has been our Achilles a little bit this year. Defensively been really good, but that's what we try to do offensively.
Isn't it interesting from a coaching perspective? I always thought, first of all, I love the game, and you can learn from every other coach that you watch. You watch former Coach Schlosser at E-Town, where they play a real deliberate flex offense. Really, those guys are strong. They're setting baseline screens, shaping up, playing physical basketball. And then you watch another team get up and down the floor, and you say, okay, what fits us, right? Yeah, absolutely, and it's even within a season too. You kind of adapt as the season goes along, and you try, especially when you're struggling a little bit. You're trying to find something, and so you tweak things a little bit even within a season. Getting guys to play hard, play together is. You can do all kinds of different things, right? There's a lot of different ways to play the game, from the flex to the motion to sets to just running up and down the floor like crazy trying to score quick. All kinds of different ways to play. It's just playing hard and playing together and believing in what you're doing is kind of the root of the whole thing. Isn't that the hard thing sometimes when things go south, and we've all experienced that, to kind of to stay focused, because the temptation is to try to do 100 things well, right? Right. Yep, absolutely. I coached with a guy at Monmouth College. I spent time with him who taught me that he felt the most important part of the basketball game, and I'm interested in your thoughts, but the most important part of the game is transition defense. And we'd spend, you have limited time with these young men, and we'd spend 20 minutes a night working on transition defense and not giving anybody anything easy. And so, Coach, if I said, Coach Van Pelt, you're 20 years of head men's basketball collegiate coaching, what would you say is the most important part of the game? Scoring more points than the other team. I like it. I think the transition game really has, especially,
I went from being a high school coach to being a college coach, and obviously in high school there's no shot clock. So the transition game probably at the high school level, except for certain programs, maybe isn't quite as important as others. But the college game with the shot clock, and also it's evolved a little bit. The game has become faster. Players are a lot better off the dribble, and being able to create opportunities and create shots and penetrate than they used to be. And so I would say that ability to create off the dribble for yourself and for teammates, and then being able to defend that, has been really where the game has kind of evolved too. So it becomes really, really important to be able to do those things and also be able to defend those things.
When you look back at the game of basketball, how it has evolved, first of all, I think it's evolved from a half-court game to, we could go a long time talking about this, but from a half-court game to a full-court transition game, to maybe a three-point game.
Right.
And I think you're right. It's become a dribble penetration game right now. And I'm guessing maybe that's because people got so good at help side defense. I'm not sure. So talk defense, Coach.
Yeah. Well, it's an analytics thing, that kind of comes down from the NBA, and it's like layups and threes and free throws.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of hunting, and so a lot of teams create those threes by dribble penetration, and making you have to collapse, so then you can kick out and get threes. We lost last night to a team. They had a kid that hit 6 threes in the first half.
Yeah.
And just I think he hit 5 threes. 5 threes in the first. He had 6 for the game. We had made a good halftime adjustment, I guess. The three can change it. We won a game 2 or 3 games ago because we had a guy, I think, that hit 6 threes in the first half. So it just that 3-point shot can really make or break you. And so you got to be able to defend the 3-point line for sure. And that's, we talk about, because we're not super long, we're not super athletic, we try to, through ball pressure, closeout technique, anticipation, we try to speed up and disrupt. We're not gonna keep you from getting those shots or block your shot, but we just try to make you uncomfortable shooting it, and hopefully bring your shooting percentage down because we've made you uncomfortable. So that's what kind of on the defensive end, speeding up and disrupting without giving up penetration is what we try to do.
Now, Coach, you're obviously great at setting up skills and setting up plays and so forth, but I also know you're great at what I call the soft side of basketball, kind of what we do, or what we were talking about today as far as having teammates play as a team and encouraging each other. Could you speak to us some of the things that you do to promote that?
Yeah, I think we ask our guys, and this is kind of a little bit of a catchphrase in our program, or just recruiting, is just there's 3 things we want our guys to do, and that is we want them to be great teammates. So that means loving your teammate, being humble, and just being a great teammate is the number one thing we want you to be in the program. The second thing is to be coachable. I give examples of guys that have come through our program that have literally come to me and said, "Coach, whatever you need me to do, I'll do whatever it is you need. If I think I'm a point guard, but you need me to play the wing spot, I'll do that." Everybody wants to be a guard, right? So, but they're coachable, and they're willing to do whatever the team needs them to do. And then the third thing is just it's a passion. Work hard at it and be committed to it. So that those 3 things, and the biggest one is just love your teammates. Be a great teammate. Celebrate your teammates' success, and that's just a big part of developing the culture that we want to have. That will create lifelong relationships, right? They're at Messiah for 4 years playing basketball, and we want them to develop friendships and relationships that will be meaningful for them well after their time at Messiah, and relationships that will point them towards God. and their relationship with God is important.
We're going along with head coach Rick Van Pelt, Messiah College or Messiah University men's basketball coach. Coach, again, the book of Romans, chapter 15, verses 5 through 6. May the God who gives endurance and encouragement give you the same attitude of mind toward each other that Christ Jesus had, so that with one mind and with one voice you may glorify the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. What does that speak to you, Coach?
Yeah. I mean, it's when you think of relating it to basketball or just relating it to life, is just being in our circumstances or above our circumstances, and being living with the peace of knowing that in the end you win as a believer. Just helps you to live above your circumstances and not being under your circumstances, and that is motivation and helps you to pour into other people and encourage them and spur them on to greater things as well. So yeah.
Now, Coach, I know as far as being a leader off the court and helping the young men who play for you, that you have done things. You've had like prayer times, you've had Bible studies and so forth on the team, and different young men actually take leadership and give devotionals. What do you kind of encourage with the young men? How do you encourage them to show that kind of Christian example to other people?
Yeah, and that's big, and it's one of the unique things about Messiah is we get a chance to. We have some unbelievable young men in our program, and not everybody comes from the same. The same background or even in the same place in their walk with the Lord. So there's growing that goes on within our program, but just supporting the guys, especially the guys who have that gift for leadership. And we've had over the past couple years, and right now I can think of a specific junior on our team that just is just a really, really good leader that has kind of taken up the leadership role as far as doing some team-led Bible studies that have really been a time for guys to grow closer. And I think those team-led Bible studies where they take, where certain guys really take the leadership role in it when there's no coaches around, I think that's where some of the biggest growth occurs within our team. But we do, like we have the opportunity sometimes to do mission trips with our guys. That are where we can go a week and travel internationally. Those have been some big moments in our program as well. Pouring into our guys from those standpoints has really been hopefully for them has been something that's going to have a lifelong and even beyond lifelong for eternity will have an impact on them.
Well, Becky and I can speak firsthand. If you have a young man that you want to have a coach who's a role model, you want to have a coach who's going to make him build as a player, but also as a person, I would highly recommend you go visit Coach Van Pelt at Messiah University. Great coach, great basketball program, great tradition, and more importantly, he will develop your son. So, Coach, thanks for being with us on Go Long. We appreciate everything you've done for our family and appreciate everything you've done for the Messiah University community and hundreds of young men who've had the opportunity to play for you. Thank you, Coach.
I appreciate the time. It was fun to talk to you again.
All right, stay tuned, friends. We will be right back.
Hey, WOIK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant or occupied home, and we allow buyers to create emotional connections with the home by envisioning their family in that space. Doing that allows the buyer to get top dollar for their listing and also sell it in the fastest amount of time.
Kylie, tell us about the benefits of Red Barn in particular.
Home staging is very important in the selling process. It really makes sure that your home sells in the quickest amount of time and for the top dollar. Some of our statistics here are homes sell in an average of 4.5 days and for over 16,000 over asking.
Kelsey, how would folks get in touch with Red Barn?
Please feel free to check out our portfolio at www.redbarnhomedecors.com. You can also check out our social media pages at Red Barn Home Decors or give us a call at 717-818-1207.
Red Barn Home Decors. Staging makes dollars and cents.
When you have talent like this, you know we're gonna brag about it. From Colin Cowherd, Dan Patrick, Doug Gottlieb, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, Jonas Knox, Ben Maller, Rob Parker, Chris Broussard.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Jason Smith, RJ Bell, and Mike Carmen.
There's going to be some saltiness about that.
This is more than a lineup. This is the lineup. They live right here on Fox Sports Radio. This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
Favre and Aaron Rodgers are not the same person, but they're becoming the same Green Bay quarterback. You've seen those commercials, those Progressive insurance commercials where, you start becoming your parents. They're actually very, very funny. Aaron's becoming Favre, whether he wants to be it or not. He's getting kind of rigid. He doesn't want to change certain things. Favre got very rigid. I don't want to learn a new offense. Aaron's like, I want Randall Cobb and my 70-year-old quarterback coach. They're becoming the same guy. And I've always called this the Green Bay Packer quarterback syndrome. In Green Bay, the quarterback runs the franchise. If Aaron keeps mentioning, I don't know if I'm going to play, the team that gets him doesn't have to give up many picks. Because Aaron's not going to go play for a crappy team. He'll just retire. Tennessee's the team I put out there.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Wow. Weekdays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
And now,
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
This is always tricky when you have to change your viewing patterns of finding something. But going to YouTube, NFL Sunday Ticket was launched in 1994. And it was on DirecTV. This was a godsend for DirecTV. And they've had it since DirecTV's inception. But the NFL and YouTube are now partners here. The traditional media is not going to play a role moving forward. We're seeing that. Just different places with, a lot more money and needing that content there. Yes, Todd?
They do need to figure out a way, if there is technically, where you can flip from one channel to another without having to have 9 different remotes and
Yeah, you kind of can. If you have, depending on what type of streaming TV you have, you should hit the
I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain.
Yes.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. You're on York's new home for Philadelphia Eagles football. Catch every snap, all the touchdowns.
He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He's in for the touchdown.
All the big plays.
Down the far sideline. All alone. Big play. Slide.
Eagles Hall of Famers Merrill Reese and Mike Quick bring the action to York all season long. Philadelphia Eagles football, presented by WellSpan Health. Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK. First in York, first in sports.
It's gonna be another epic year of high school hoops, and Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 WOYK are ready for tip-off. Tune in every week for the high school basketball game of the week, presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Plus, go to 98.9WOYK.com for a full breakdown of the teams and the players of the York Adams League. The high school basketball game of the week, presented by WellSpan Sports Medicine. Catch all the action all season on Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350, online at 98.9WOYK.com, or download the new WOYK app.
Hey WOYK listeners, Daryl Henry here with Kelsey McCullough, Kylie Taylor, the owners of Red Barn Home Decors. Kelsey, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing.
So Kylie and I bring in our furniture and decor to either a vacant
Oliver Dance from the Susquehannock boys basketball team, all the way from the rock, paper, scissors. These guys combine for little Rochambeau throughout the year. What an excellent season the boys from the rock have. 17-5 regular season record. They're poised right about the middle of the pack in PIAA District 3. But again, an outstanding season from the boys from the rock. First of all, Chase, tell us a little bit about your team and how you feel things are going.
So we are a senior heavy team. We have a lot of young guys though too.
that help out. Really been fun this year. I think one of the reasons we've had the success we've had is because we're a really tight group of guys, and it's been a lot of fun playing for each other and with everyone.
Oliver, tell us a little bit about your team. What do you try to do defensively? Do you mostly play man? Do you mix it up a little bit on defense? Do you full court press? Tell us the kind of things. First of all, let's start with defense. What kind of things do you do from a team defensive standpoint?
Yeah, so we take a lot of confidence in our defense. We like to switch things up a lot. We have a couple of different. We have a defense where it's a man, which is just like your basic man defense, and then we switch it up. We'll run some zone defenses where you get trapped in certain areas and stuff like that. But and then we'll have also some like half-court zone defenses where you just try to get them to move the ball around, force turnovers, get out in transition, get easy buckets.
All right, Chase, tell us a little bit about what you try to do from an offensive standpoint. A little bit of motion offense. Again, tell us what you try to get done there.
From an offensive standpoint, we have a couple different motions and set plays, but overall, we try to play with each other and we try to just keep the ball swinging. We look for the best shot and just try to make the offense flow.
You guys got better as the season went on. You had an 8-win run at the end of the season. You beat Eastern York twice. And even, with just 5 losses throughout the entire season, 3 of those combined for 5 points total. But I guess the point I want to make is you seem to just get better, and that's what good teams do. Throughout the season, they get better. So, Chase, let's start with you, and what made that happen?
I think we have coaches who believe in us day in and day out, and I think we just continue to work hard no matter the circumstance. Win or lose, we come to practice the next day with the same goal in mind to get better. And I think it has really helped our team. And again, just playing with your friends, and it makes it a lot easier to work hard for each other,
Absolutely. Oliver, what's your thoughts? Your team got better throughout the season. Was it 1 or 2 tweaks that had to be made on the offensive side or the defensive side, or is it really just learning how to win close games down the stretch?
Well, yeah, as you know, we got a new coach, so that was a big impact on our program. And from the beginning of the year, we were just trying to learn what type of tendencies he had, what type of stuff he was going to put in. And I think throughout the season, as we learned like what type of offense, what type of defense, what type of coach he was going to be, we understood more and worked and played together better as a team. And I think that helped our success a lot and helped us to win more games.
Alrighty, let's have just a little bit of fun chatting basketball here. Chase, Oliver, both of you both can respond to this, but who do you think is the best team you faced this year?
I think we faced a lot of good teams. I think we've played a lot of good teams, like I said, but I think West York got the best of us twice. I think we're excited to potentially play them again in districts, but I would say them. Yeah, for me, I think we have a lot of teams in the area that have a lot of bigs, and I think Eastern kind of fits that team where they have 2 guys that are, big guys that can play the paint, stretch the outside as well. I think Littletown is another one of those teams that you can throw in there. They have solid bigs, solid guard play, and I think playing those teams is a little more difficult because you got to be more physical. You got to want to win possessions more because people who are bigger have more advantage on the court, and I think that plays in the perspective of which teams are better and whatnot.
Alrighty, just quick basketball chat here. Chase, first for you. Do you double team ball screens? Do you switch on ball screens? Do you hedge and recover? How do you handle ball screens?
For ball screens, it really depends on the moment. Our coach has put in all sorts of systems to help us with ball screens, so we do a little bit of everything. It really just depends who we're playing, and like if it's a shooter, we might want to go over top of ball screens. If it's a bigger team, typically we want to go under them, but we trust our coach to put us in the right positions, and we have all the systems implemented. We just have to listen to what he calls.
All righty, Oliver, again, chatting basketball. Do you front the post? Do you contest passes to the post? What's the best way to guard the post play?
So yeah, early from the season, our coach explained to us what the best way for that is, and three quarters front, which means that we're kind of situated to where we can play the front, but also get the ball if they try to go over top. So just being physical, putting an arm in front, trying to prevent them from getting deep in the post, pushing them out, and making them pass the ball or take a contested shot.
All right, let's get down and start learning about this Susquehanna basketball team. Chase, first, who do you think is the best ball handler on your team?
Best ball handler on the team, I would say, is Josh Franklin, number 24. He's been big for us this season, and he's really skilled overall.
All right, Oliver, who's the best defender on the ball? Let's start with that way. Who defends the ball the best?
Yeah, we got some dogs on the team. I mean, I'm looking at Chase right now. He's always on the ball, getting his hands in the lanes. You got number 3, Mafid Row 1. He's a dog. He's going to get stopped. He's going to mess up their offense. Like I said, hands in the lanes. And then you have a Boston and Dye. He's a big man, long wingspan. He'll meet you at the rim and play physical and maybe foul you every once in a while, but he's going to get in your head and make you miss your shot.
All right, Chase, best dribble penetrator.
Best dribble penetrator would either have to be Josh Franklin or Joey Smith. They're both really talented into their spots.
All righty, Oliver, you get the ball in the perimeter, you get good ball reversal. Who can catch it? Good ball fake, one hard dribble pull-up jumper. Who's best at that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, once again, you're going to get the name Josh Franklin. His pull-up jumper, he has one of the best in the county. I think, if not the best. Joey Smith is one of those guys that can get in the lane, pull up for a jumper. I think Chase you can also throw in that conversation. Yeah, we got some good guys in the mid-range.
All righty, last question. Chase, we'll go to you. Who rebounds? Who hits those boards every night out for you?
Well, as a team, we all try to hit the boards. That's been a big emphasis, that it's not a one-man job. But Abasa and Dye really does a great job of getting rebounds. And Oliver Dance, Andy Jamison, all our bigs do a really good job of getting rebounds.
All righty, we're talking with Chase Robert and Oliver Dance here on Sports Radio 1350. Guys, let's go long. I'm an old guy. Some say I might be an old fart. But what do you consider, and Chase, will start with you, but what do you consider one of the biggest challenges for youth today? Does that make sense? I mean, what do youth face? What kind of challenges do you guys face day in, day out?
I think youth as a whole, especially in high school, middle school, everyone's still trying to find their identity, and I think everyone's trying to fit in and be cool. Overall, I think the hardest thing that teenagers face would be like just trying to stay away from peer pressure and just hanging out with the right groups of people, making right decisions. I think there's so many distractions, and just trying to find the right people is the biggest challenge that people face.
Yeah, I think that makes good sense, Chase. Oliver, what's important to you when you walk in those doors at Susquehanna High School? What are you trying to display as an individual?
Yeah, so I think high school can be stressful for a lot of people. I think one of the main things in maintaining a good student is maintaining your schedule. I think for me personally, I have a lot of things going on constantly, knowing what time I have to be at work, knowing when I have to submit certain assignments, when I got to be at basketball. I think getting that schedule and knowing when you're going to do things, how you're going to do them is a vital part in staying a good student as soon as I walk into Susquehanna doors.
So Chase, I know you're a young man of faith. How are you able to, or how does that faith play out in your relationships with other students at school and your relationships on the basketball floor?
I think faith is a huge part of my life. I think it really impacts all aspects of my life, and I try to just be the best person I can be with help from Christ. I think just how you treat people day in and day out, I think Christ really helps me with that and helps me to be a better person. And it also just helps in everyday life. Like I said, for basketball, before games, we offer a prayer as a team before the game. And just things like that give you confidence to do every step of your life.
And Oliver, tell us your faith and how that plays out for you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I grew up in a good household where faith was always taught. And as you know, basketball is such an emotional game, emotionally and mentally tough. And I think just having someone like Jesus to look back to and to talk to is such an important part for me personally, just to like stay locked in and to stay focused. And because there's so many things that can get in your head and so many temptations, so many things that you want to do but shouldn't. And I just think always leaning back to Christ is always a good thing for people to do. I just think that people who are not necessarily Christians, I don't know how they are able to like get through the day, get through the games without him knowing that he's always there to support you.
You know, today's lesson here on Go Long from the book 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11 is, therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. And in fact, Chase and Oliver, you are two young men that are building others up by not only how you play the game, how you approach your sports, but how you approach your life as a young man at Susquehannock High School, but even in the community. I can't tell you how proud I am of both of you, how I wish you the best success, and how I thank you for sharing your journey with us here on Go Long. Thank you, gentlemen.
Becky B., two great young men.
Absolutely, and not just that, they're honor roll students too. They seem to do it all, don't they?
They do. Becky, thank you. Becky B., would you lead us in prayer, please?
All right. Dear God, we come to you with prayer requests. We're going to start out, for those of you who are old-timers, especially York men's baseball, you might remember pitcher and lefty hitter Kim McCullough. He had triple bypass surgery this past week, so we'll be saying specific prayers for him. The splendid Spartan Scott Geis and coach from Central Scott Weisner as they're facing some of their health issues, and Diane as well. Okay, amazing God, God of grace and God of encouragement, we just thank you for this opportunity to come together today. And we thank you for the opportunities to participate in sports, either as athletes or in coaches, officials, and even as fans. We thank you for the gift of encouragement, and we ask you to help us to look for the opportunity that we can encourage others as we participate together in sports and really in all walks of life. We ask for your special blessing on those who had the prayer requests for better health circumstances, and we ask for those prayer requests that have not been spoken but we know we have in our hearts and in our minds as well. We just ask you as we go through this next week to show encouragement and grace to others, and to be the best of sport and show the best of sportsmanship as we participate.
Dear Heavenly Father, you are the God who gives us endurance. You are the God who gives us encouragement. Please give us the thought of mind, the peace of mind that can give us the same attitude of mind toward each other, that we may help each other, bring each other up, encourage each other, build each other up, as has been instructed to us in the book of Romans. Let us be of one mind and one voice as we glorify you, our God and our Father, of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Becky B., Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl, yes. Okay. Who are you picking, Wayne?
You know what? Before we do the picking, probably more importantly, what's your Super Bowl go-to food? That's what I'm really interested in.
Oh, I think tonight's going to be steak and cheese subs. I think that'll be good.
All righty, I'm good with steak and cheese subs. I'm kind of a chicken wing guy. I'm gonna join my daughter Christy with that. Some chicken wings. I know there'll be some mozzarella sticks and stuff around the house here, and plenty of good old Super Bowl food. Last night we kind of shared a couple minutes together. Not last night, the night before, watching some Super Bowl commercials. Your favorite commercial of all time?
Oh, it's got to be the Budweiser commercial with the little dog and the mule in it as well.
Absolutely. I got to go back to the Mean Joe Green commercial.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So lots of good commercials out there as well. My friends, thanks for joining with us here today on Go Long. Please, let's just read again from the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verses 11, as we get ready to close our show. Therefore, my friends, and I'm going to paraphrase, therefore, my friends, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Such an important part of our mission as a Christ, right, Becky B?
Absolutely. Be the positive.
Yep, I'm with you 100%. Okay, my friends, thank you to Kelsey Jean and Kylie Jane from Red Barn Home Decors, where staging makes dollars and cents. We've had a good show today. Thank you very much to head coach Rick Van Pelt, Messiah College men's basketball. Thank you very much to the boys from the Rock. Just two
Chase
wonderful young
Robert
men.
and Oliver Dance, outstanding young men.
They did a wonderful two-step for us today. So again, for Sports Radio 98.9 FM and 1350 AM WOYK, first in York and first in sports. This is Dr. Wayne McCullough and Becky B saying, Go long.